All right. If I have to start dyeing my beard,
Yes.
it's time to shave. And it's also time for Bingo is Life.
Yeah.
Yay! The podcast.
All the people. Oh, my God. Settle down, everyone, please.
I'm still Jay Zare, breathing oxygen on planet Earth, joined by Mike Howdy Show.
Yeah, that's right.
Both of us have on the bingo shirts.
Yes, we do.
They saved the gigantic triple XL yellow banana bingo shirt for me because I was a special guest host.
Yeah.
They let me back on.
That's right. So we didn't have Chris with us today.
Do
In
not have
fact,
Chris.
we don't have Chris
We
with
don't
us
have
tonight.
Chris with us now.
And Brittany's not here. Dan's not here. So it's just me and you, Jay, and our special guest.
Special guest in the silent Dave and Aaron chair. Yeah, Mama Shackles got called away to an emergency sighting of Mothman.
Oh, is that what it is? Again?
And brought again. Killing livestock and leaving footprints everywhere.
She's
Wait,
kind
I
of
thought
like
that was Bigfoot.
well, she's kind
No,
of
it's
like
Mothman.
She's kind of like the Lois Lane of Mothman, right?
Well,
Follows around the story.
She is she's not here to contradict me. She is the hardest working gal in show business. She's crushing the radio.
Right.
By the way, Mom Shackles, I had to put all the equipment together myself
That's
tonight.
right. That's right. And he did a fantastic job.
It sounds great to me. Yeah.
Women do all the work in this world.
I won't argue with you.
It's true.
So we had no $100 win. We did have. She did. She did get an unfair assist on the pizza
Oh, is that right?
on the second roll because it was a gutter ball.
Okay, it was
but
gutter ball.
But it hit a pin that was already down from before we ever got there.
knocked
I
in.
really-
Oh, okay.
I don't want to critique your bingo small side games, but I do question the validity of some of the
Oh, the
people who are
validity.
winning.
The validity. Uh-oh.
It just feels like almost everyone gets a free pizza, which I'm down for. More free food for everybody.
well, you
but
know-
it's just like there are a lot of stories on your podcast of people hitting a gutter ball and then getting
Yeah,
a pizza.
yeah.
It's just like a participation trophy.
Well, yeah, right. Maybe I'm demeaning the
It's
game
like there's
itself.
no value.
Right. Well, so, okay, I'll throw this out there. I used to, and maybe I still do a little bit, but I used to believe that there did have to be losers. Like we had to have people who lost. And
Yeah.
be like, hey, just walk away. You get nothing because it makes it more real.
Yeah.
But, it's terribly difficult when I have to tell that to, say, like a 10-year-old that won the
Oh, yeah.
game. Sorry, keep walking, buddy.
But you know what? That I think is important for children to learn that they don't always get everything.
Well, this is true.
You
But
know-
do they need to learn that at a bingo hall?
But when are they are they ever going to come back?
Yeah, that's
but,
true. I don't
I was
know.
listening to one of your podcasts earlier today, and I think it was Chris who was talking about a kid who lost the airplane
Yes.
throw,
Yes.
and he cried.
Yes.
He was so upset, but then he came back 2 weeks later
That's
and
true.
then won.
That's right. He did triumph.
So that's a great
That's a better
story.
lesson.
Yeah, it's a
You're
better
right.
He
lesson.
taped a fishing lure in the front of it.
Very good. So maybe we are here to do good for people and
Yeah.
to children. I doubt it, but I mean, it's okay.
So that was an experience doing the bingo. I don't know. I still don't know all the lingo.
So I guess we didn't say it, but Chris did not do the bingo game with us tonight. So it was basically I had Jay come in as the go-to crowd pleaser. Gave him a huge yellow Bingo is Life T-shirt, and he immediately looks like a banana.
I did not. I passed the lowest bar of not uttering any profanity in front of the little children at Ruby's Arcade.
That's right. I think the last time we did run into that issue, but you did okay this time.
It's my Mennonite upbringing.
So it was an interesting game. We didn't have a $100 winner, but there was the gutter ball for the pizza. So yeah, it was.
Some people won.
Yeah, that's right.
people
But
lost.
it seemed like it was a decent crowd, and they seemed like they were having a good time. So, Chris, we missed you, but we'll be doing it again next week.
Want to
Every
get
week.
a quick plug in for
Yes.
Wednesday, tomorrow night, which will be the 25th.
I believe that is correct. No, today's the 25th.
26th, Court
26th.
Square Theater, Friendly City Fables,
Yes.
long form improv, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, come
Yeah.
to the improv. It's like
Yeah.
it's they have this
Where
whole.
is it?
It's at the Court Square Theater, and,
Okay.
and they have a giant screen up there, and they roll the 23 side. Well, how many side? The one where you get the 20.
The big-
So
What?
Well, you just said you love Dungeons and Dragons.
They have a die.
Yeah.
They
The
roll
die,
the
like
die.
a D20.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they, and then they do. Everyone calls out suggestions, and they do a long They all have characters that are established,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the priest and
Yes.
the cleric and
Yeah.
And the rogue
Hagrietta
and
is Brittany's character.
That's
and,
right.
Okay.
And they have a giant elf, I think, or a gnome or whatever he is. And they just do a whole long story. It's I don't know how they do it. It's amazing. They do,
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
based on suggestions. Yeah.
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 So that's
That'll be tomorrow night at 7:30, Court Square Theater. Come down now. Now's a great time to be supporting Court Square Theater.
And they do that every Wednesday, right?
No. Just they do.
Once a month.
They do
Twice a month.
Twice a month.
This is why we need Brittany here.
Yeah.
No. I know the answer.
Ah, okay, good.
They
good.
do Rocktown Improv on first Fridays.
Yes.
At Court Square, and then one Wednesday a month,
I would love to get involved with improv.
Oh,
Yes.
they've just
You
they
should.
just they now. I think they just had auditions, but they're.
I just missed it.
Well,
That's okay.
maybe I'll be starting Jay's improv.
That's right. I also want to mention we had a wonderful Paul Simon tribute show at the Little Grill, but I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to let Chris talk about it the next time he's here, because it was an incredible show, and Chris was the host of that show, and he did a fantastic job.
I was the president.
You were there.
And I will say the most incredible part of the night was for the very last song, the entire audience sang "Bridge Over Troubled Waters"
Yeah.
without lyrics, without musical accompaniment,
Yeah.
from beginning to end. And I was shocked how many young people were singing.
Right.
Like,
That's
Claire.
a great song.
Yeah.
Do you know the Simon and Garfunkel?
Yeah, I do. I think my college boyfriend actually introduced me to
Okay.
that song specifically, "Bridge Over Troubled Waters."
Very
is the one that
cool.
he introduced me to.
It was nice that it was such a good crowd, and everyone was singing along with several songs, and
A lot of them.
it just it was super good.
What was the song that didn't have any rhyming lines? I was like, I never thought of that.
I
It
don't
was
remember.
true, but it
Yeah.
was like,
They were all good. Ugh.
yeah, I think he must have had some training at the Brill building.
We should bring Chris in here to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Chris. So you should be talking about it. Okay, so I want to go ahead and introduce our guest.
Yes.
So, we love to talk to interesting people doing interesting things, and it just so happens that here at Ruby's Arcade, they happen to hire interesting people who do interesting things. So, we talked to all of them, and none of them wanted to be here.
Yes, the least interesting person is here.
I remember that we did have Emerson here before too.
Yeah.
She talked to us. And it's just really cool to get to know people. Ruby's has been an awesome sponsor for Chris and I for both the bingo show and for this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We love this place. Chris has a history with actually helping build this place
I
from
didn't know
when.
that.
Yeah, he helped actually build all the duck pens and everything.
He put those duck pins together.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that why we have so much problem with them?
Yeah. Maybe it's good that Chris isn't here.
It was
No, they're just old machines.
It was
I feel
smoking
so
reefer
bad. But yes, I do work here,
Yes.
and our machines are always breaking. I feel so bad about that. So many people come up and they're like, "So how does the bowling work?" And I'm like, you just kind of cross your fingers and
Yep.
hope and pray that it turns
Right.
on today.
Right.
I can't remember the details, but I believe the person who invented the duck pins was a pretty Rube Goldberg Byzantium
Type of machine.
Yeah,
Type of machine.
have you
It's
guys
pretty
ever
co-
been in the back?
What's
Oh
that?
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's complicated
It's
and
so
breaks down.
complicated. I barely know how to fix certain things when things
It's
get a little
dangerous
bit-
back there too.
Yeah, you can really hurt yourself if the machines are still running and you're trying
Right.
to fix stuff back there. That's why we hire the specific guys. We have like
Yeah.
two guys who come in and they're just a repair.
Yeah.
Don't tell the
I haven't even finished the introduction yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. Who is it? So please let me give a formal and welcoming to Lia Hamilton.
And I think you're at least the fourth person. Didn't we have Lauren on? Did we not have Lauren on? Lauren
Oh, Davis?
Yeah. We were going to.
We were going to.
But we
maybe.
used to have in the very beginning. We talked about that the other day.
Yes.
The Swiftie.
The very first show we did.
She's probably in California,
Yeah,
married with
yeah.
children by now.
We do have I think, somewhat of a high turnaround.
A
rate.
rotating
Yeah.
cast,
yeah,
if you will.
For sure.
Yeah. So let's hear a little bit about you as far as, okay, you're here now.
Yes.
How did you get here?
I've been thinking about this all day yesterday and today because I was talking to my friend about how I can attribute almost everything happening in my life to 9/11 happening.
Whoa. You don't hear that every day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was born in 2001,
Gotcha.
right? So my dad, we had been stationed overseas because he used to be in the military and just liked the overseas. So we were living in Germany when I was born. And because 9/11 happened, they were worried about maybe World War III happening. And they were just a little concerned. So after I was born, about a month afterward, 9/11 happened. My dad was like, okay, we're going to all move back to the U.S. And then the rest of my life happened because of that choice. If 9/11 had never happened, I would never have ended up back in the United States or gone to school in Virginia or any of that.
Now, you said overseas. Did I hear where?
In Germany.
Oh, in Germany.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
I was living in Bonn, Bad Godesberg, which is the birthplace of Beethoven.
Can you speak German?
I can, yes. I do speak German. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I took it in college too, but my whole family speaks German because we lived over there for a while.
So you just took it easy. You're like, yeah, I'll take German.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, I think that my understanding is really high, but
okay.
my grammar maybe is not the best.
Oh,
so
I
I
see,
took it
yeah.
a little bit to have some more rules instilled in me.
Yeah.
But my dad ended up working for the government after losing his job in the 2011 recession. And once he worked for the government, we got sent all over the place in different countries and stuff like that. I lived back in Germany again, and we lived in Mexico again, and then we came back to D.C. So he was working with the State Department in D.C., and we lived in Northern Virginia, and that's how I even found out about schools in this area.
Right.
So I applied to JMU on a whim based on a friend of mine in high school, and I ended up coming here, and now I just live in Harrisonburg.
Wow.
What did you study?
I studied psychology with a Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah, can you fix my brain?
I probably could, yeah.
Do you know anything about EMDR?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That's like the electric...
No, it's just like bilateral. I don't even understand it. It's just you just cry for an hour.
Are you okay?
The lights moving back and
Yeah,
forth.
I'm getting fixed. They're fixing my brain
Okay.
with EMDR and brain spotting and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
cool.
think I could do that. I'm not high level enough yet. I just
Yeah,
have a
no.
bachelor, unfortunately, in undergrad. But I
Yeah,
want
you
to go
gotta
back to school.
You got to get to. Yeah,
I got to get a little higher up there.
They make you study all kinds of stuff. So, what was your favorite country out of all the places you went?
And this is mainly when you were like a kid, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. So I lived in Germany when I was like a baby.
Yeah, right.
And then I lived all over the U.S. And then I went back to Germany again in around 5th grade. I think I was 11 or 12.
Right.
And then we lived in Mexico City only for about a year. So I was like 13 when we lived there. And I love Germany as a culture. And I actually plan on moving back to Germany in the next year. But Mexico City was it's a beautiful city. And the
Okay.
weather there is really interesting too. They have a dry season and a wet season.
Yeah.
So we don't get any snow, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was always really warm still, even when it was raining. But I really enjoyed the rain. I grew up in Seattle when I was a kid, so I was pretty
Wow.
used to that.
What was your favorite U.S. area you were in?
Definitely the West Coast,
West Coast.
which I'm sure a lot of people will be angry about since we're on the East
We
Coast.
won't hold it against you, I
I
guess.
appreciate that. Yeah, but I grew up on the West Coast. I like it a lot over there. I grew up in Washington State. And
Cool.
Yeah, a lot of like the green, a lot
Yeah.
of the mountains and stuff.
Seattle
My dad's a big-
Supersonics fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Every Seattle team I am a fan of.
Do you know any? Can you tell Mike about the NBA lottery because he doesn't know. He
can't.
doesn't know anything.
I don't know
He doesn't
anything about the NBA,
first
I'm
thing-
sorry.
First
This
thing
is
about
where
it.
this is where Chris and I are completely different. Chris can talk basketball. I cannot talk basketball.
I
I'm talking
can't
about the
talk about
lottery
basketball.
They have ping pong balls to pick.
that they use in the NBA.
No, they use it to decide who gets to pick the order of the selection of the college players
Okay.
coming into the NBA.
I believe you.
And it's a massive it's like the moon hoax, flat Earth conspiracy. These conspiracy theories about how they rigged
The ping pong balls?
ping pong balls to send Joe Schmo to San Antonio to play instead of New York.
Okay, wait. How do they use a ping pong ball?
It's like the same thing as the lotto, like
Yeah.
the lotto
Yeah.
or they just
The
bounce.
bingo thing?
They bounce these balls around and they pull them out, and then
And
They
then
just
they
like
say,
put a number on the ball
you go
and
to
you
so.
go this.
well, they what's that?
That you just like pull a ball and they like.
Well,
that's the number.
it's pretty complicated. There's a whole sequence of numbers, and they pull them out. They do it off camera, and then
Oh my!
Okay,
so
off
they could be
camera
they could be
is
making it up.
suspicious.
right. But there
Yeah.
are witnesses there, and then they decide.
Paid off
Hey,
witnesses.
yeah, this is- yeah.
They decide which teams. It determines which teams get to have the first and second and third and fourth.
Yeah,
fifth.
this sounds. I would
She's already-
trust
I
it
got-
either.
Are there,
I got her converted to the conspiracy, the NBA lottery conspiracy.
I barely watch sports. I do watch a little NFL, but like, are there any other professional sports that do this using?
I do not
lottery
think. I do
systems?
not think so. The national basketball is so one good player can turn your franchise around. So
Oh,
what
I
was
see.
happening was
I'll take your word for it.
what was happening as opposed to football. What was happening
Yeah.
was teams were intentionally having losing seasons so that they were just doing it. If you were the worst team, you got the first pick. So
Oh, I see.
teams would be if there was a really good player coming along, teams would lose on purpose.
Oh,
So
that's interesting.
Okay, I'm not sure how we started talking about
Yeah,
the
I don't
NBA,
know how
but
we
that's
got
okay.
over
that
here.
was that was
The last
Jay,
one-
Jay's
oh.
era.
No,
dominating.
that's it. That's how we do it. You moved around quite a bit then
Yes.
in your youth. Was it difficult having? I mean, like friendship wise, that's got to be tough.
Yeah, I would say I don't have any friends from birth or anything like
right,
that.
right.
I know a lot of when I went to high school, I knew some people who had like literally known each other since birth, like their moms
Yes,
were
of
friends
course.
and
Yeah,
everything
absolutely.
like that. And middle school, I knew a girl who was living in the same house that she was born in.
Right.
I never experienced any of that. The
Right.
closest friend I had, who is my longest standing friend, is actually a girl I met in Germany. We were both, I think, 11 or 12. I think I was 12, she was 11. And we only met each other and knew each other for about 3 months. And then I moved away because it was just the season for the State Department for us to move away. And we actually lost contact for about, I think, I want to say 6 or 7 years. Reconnected again because of the internet.
Yep.
Which is a great thing.
Thanks, technology.
Yeah, thanks technology. But we ended up reconnecting over quarantine, and then she ended up moving to Harrisonburg.
Whoa.
And she works here now.
By chance.
No, not by chance. She moved here because I live here.
Wow.
So she works in the back of house.
Oh, okay.
But-
So at Ruby's, yeah.
yeah, so she works here now because of me, and she moved here because of me, which is one of my biggest flexes
Yeah.
on the whole world. Is that my friend loved me so much
Yeah.
that she decided that she would live in the same city.
Is
as
she
me.
German or is she?
No, she was. Her parents also work State Department, so we were both
Yeah.
State Department kids.
Wow. Did she go to school or she just came here?
Yeah, no. She's in school still.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little bit younger than me, so
Mm.
she's getting a bachelor's in marketing, I think.
Can you communicate telepathically?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes we just make eye contact and we can just
Well,
talk.
that's what the psych classes were for. That's what they teach
But
you there, right?
yeah, like sometimes if we're going out for a night and we don't want other people to listen into our conversation, we'll talk in German to each other.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's close
good.
to
That's
psychic.
good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
the German.
That counts.
So that is one of the friendships I have that lasted a long time. But I only have
Very
about
cool.
2 friendships from before college that
Right.
lasted long term.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you go ahead.
No, you-
Well, okay. I'm
we
just
got
trying.
like 2 hosts and we're still
I
talking
know,
on
we're
top
still
of each
talking
other.
on top of each other.
Holy
Gosh.
smokes.
Maybe we're the problem, Jay. Everyone else is doing what they're supposed to do. Okay, so you decided to try JMU on a whim. You said
Yes.
on a whim, and that's just because someone else had mentioned.
Yeah, what my best friend in high school told me that she wanted to go to JMU, and I had no specific attachment to any college.
Yeah, you've been all over the place.
I was literally all over the place,
Yeah.
so I really had no attachment to it. I applied to colleges in Europe. I applied to colleges on the West Coast and the East Coast.
Wow.
I think I applied to maybe 20 colleges, which is just far too many.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to JMU because I went on a tour here, and I thought this place is freaking awesome. Like I
Really?
loved the tour so much
Yeah.
that it made.
What did you like? What stood out to you?
I can't even remember. I think I really liked how the like actual greenery, like that's a big plus. I think because a lot of the schools I went to had no greenery. They were in the city and stuff like that.
Right.
But
it is a pretty campus.
it's a very pretty
Beautiful.
campus. But I also really liked my tour guide, and I could just kind of feel from the atmosphere on campus that it was like kind of a more relaxed place,
Right.
but like people had fun, but they were still studious. I'm definitely more of a relaxed person.
Gotcha.
For example, I went also to UVA's tour, and that was really stuffy and weird.
Oh,
I did
interesting.
not really enjoy their tour that much.
Yeah, okay.
But I
That checks out.
yeah.
Sorry, Charlottesville.
Yeah, Charlottesville is a little bit too uppity for me. I like Harrisonburg's vibe a lot
Yeah.
more.
Well, I was going to ask, did you know anything about Harrisonburg, or this was strictly
No,
all JMU?
It was all JMU.
Yeah, right.
So I just came to JMU, and I actually ended up becoming a tour guide myself because I love the school so much. So I was a tour guide for 3 years.
And as part of that, do you have to learn like the history?
Absolutely, yeah. I
right.
learned so much about JMU. I probably knew, I think, more about JMU than most of the professors on campus.
Nice.
I wouldn't know if my history is all still accurate because we were constantly updating the information as tour guides. But that was the main reason I moved here. And then after I graduated, and like throughout my 4 years going to school here, I just kind of fell in love with downtown. I lived downtown my junior and senior year.
Where'd you live?
I lived right above that pizza place, Benny's.
Oh, yeah, at the
in
Urban Exchange.
Urban Exchange.
Urban Exchange
Yeah.
building.
So it's right smack down in the middle of downtown, and it was perfect for like going to the bar scene, but also just like during the daytime, like walking downtown and going to all the small shops and stuff like that. I became a really big fan of Midtown, which is just a convenience store. But
Oh,
it's such a cute spot to go to, and like I actually ended up getting to know some of the people that work there.
Who'd
And I have a great time with Jared. We are really good friends
Yeah.
at this point. I
Jared
think.
is a cool
He's
guy.
great.
Yeah.
And like his girlfriend works here and is my boss now. So
okay,
like we
gotcha.
ended
Yep.
up all getting
Yep.
to know each other, and my roommate ended up getting a job downtown too. And through her, I got my job as a karaoke host next door, and then eventually transitioned over here, front of house, to become a bartender and a server.
Wow, very cool. So now you've already graduated,
Yes.
but you're still here.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, I actually was trying to move pretty much immediately after I graduated. But I am waiting
Because
on-
she loved Harrisonburg so much.
Well, I did love it, but I wanted to move to Germany really badly.
Okay.
And in my senior year, my college boyfriend and I broke up, so I had no reason to stay anymore.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I was like, I
right.
should just go.
Yeah.
My sister lives in Germany right now, and I just wanted to go live with her and like figure out what I wanted to do in Europe. Probably go back to school. It's a little bit cheaper over there, anyways. And through my dad, it's a funny thing. I'm an immigrant on both sides, but a couple generations apart.
Mm-hmm.
So my great grandparents, my dad's grandparents, immigrated from Ireland when.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
So you're
So I'm all over the place.
all over the place.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For people who can't see me, I'm also very Asian. So that's probably why Mike said that.
Hello, radio viewers.
Yes. So my mom's an immigrant from Korea, and
Gotcha.
then my dad's on a couple generations back from Ireland. So through him, I actually have Irish citizenship, and I'm just waiting for the paperwork to go through.
So
And
Irish citizenship gives you
citizenship to the EU.
Wow.
So I can live anywhere in the EU and not have to get a visa. So I'm just waiting on the paperwork until
well,
I
maybe
can
you
move.
can answer my question. How did they solve the problem with Great Britain and the Irish when they with Brexit? And
I don't think they did.
so you can still can you drive from Ireland into Northern Ireland, and that was the issue.
That they're technically separated. Yes. They're like I could live anywhere pretty much in the
Right.
EU except for Northern Ireland and England.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, that was like the only land border between the United Kingdom and the common market, the
I believe so,
EU.
yeah.
So anyway, all right, continue. Sorry.
But no. That's kind of the end of my story. The only reason I haven't moved yet is because I'm just waiting on my paperwork. And I do really love Harrisonburg.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm still struggling with the idea that I'm going to have to leave eventually.
Sure. And you're going to leave your friend in the back kitchen here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
She'll
still
wake
trying
up-
to
she'll
get
wake
her
up
to
at-
follow me.
She'll wake up at 10 years with a husband and 3 kids at the bingo. Like,
yeah.
wait a minute. I was going to go to Ireland.
Yeah, maybe I'll still be here.
Not everyone has your life, Jay.
Yeah, that's true. I'm projecting Jay's life onto to everybody else. Well, that's cool. So you could go anywhere. You could go to Hungary,
Yeah.
to Spain.
I have no real attachment to the U.S. so much because my whole family is all over.
Right.
My sister lives in Germany. My parents are currently in Italy. My brother lives in D.C., but my other brother lives in like Texas or something.
Wow. Do you ever have like family reunions?
The last time all 6 of us were together was, I think, maybe 2 years ago at
2
one of
years
my
ago.
cousin's weddings. But that was the first time in 10 years that we'd all been together.
Oh, wow.
So we're still we're all in contact.
Yeah,
We text a
yeah.
lot, we call a lot, but we're just, we
Again,
don't
thank
do,
you, technology.
Yeah, again, thank you, technology, but we really don't see each other that much. So
Yeah.
I was like, there's no reason why I shouldn't move to Germany and be as close to my sister as I can. I
Right.
haven't got to see her in so long.
So you listened to one of our podcasts?
I listened to a couple of them.
So did we sound like a bunch of old fogies?
Not really.
That's what
I think I was. I did kind of
It's time
struggle.
for that reflective review time.
I was wondering what the podcast is really about because it just sounds like you guys just sit here and talk about anything that interests you.
Well,
which
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that's what all podcasts are.
Well,
but
yeah,
you
this is
never
true.
introduce yourselves really.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
try to.
yeah.
You did today, but
yeah, he does. He tried.
sometimes I don't think you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
neither
I let
you
him
or
say-
Chris
I listen-
introduce yourself in the beginning of either of the
Yeah,
any of
he
the
says
episodes.
it. I think he mentions usually that we're here.
Hey, I have to tell you, I have some Harrisonburg trivia about the Midtown Market.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, the Midtown Market.
I
You're a
probably
fan, right?
won't know, but let me hear.
It used to be a record store
I did not know that. That's really cool.
that was owned by me.
Really? Shut up.
it was
That's so cool.
owned by the Town and Campus Incorporated Corporation.
But you
Yeah.
ran it?
I did run it for
What
about 6
happened?
years. Oh, it's a long story.
They stopped making records.
Stop making records.
Hey, okay, but then they started making records again.
Yeah. Well, have you been to Wonder Records? That's still there.
Yes. Yeah. It's across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elliot, who who runs that.
There was a guy, I forget his name, Mike Harlow. He ran Water Street.
Yes.
It's like a little secondhand vintage store.
Oh yeah.
But that recently shut down.
Yes,
right?
he recently shut down. I felt sad because that was his dream to open that. It was.
I bought so much stuff from
What'd you
them.
buy?
Pants, shirts, outfits. Everything I got there fit me like a glove. Everything that's vintage just like
Right.
either fits you perfectly or it doesn't fit at all.
Why is that? Just is it
It's-
chance or?
No, I think because back then they didn't have elastic in everything that they made, so they had to make things very size specific.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it either fit
either
you
works or
perfectly
doesn't,
or
yeah.
it just didn't fit you at all. Nowadays, everything you buy has elastic in it, so you can wear something that's a size small and you're a medium, and it would still fit, just tighter.
See, that's why we do this podcast. We
What-
learn things like that.
What era were your parents were probably younger than than that vintage era, right?
My mom was born in 1964.
Oh man,
There you go.
here we go.
What year were you born, Jay?
1987. Or
So my mom
something.
is older than you?
I was actually born in the 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sadly to say.
That's not. So you're not too much older than my mom.
No, I was born in 58.
Yeah.
that's
So
not
you're
bad at all.
I'm Generation Jones.
What's Generation Jones?
That's a new one they came up with for, I guess, to sell more
Just-
stuff. Oh darn! I made it the whole night.
you were so close.
so close. Oh,
Yeah, I'm the youngest of four, so
okay.
I'm much younger than my older siblings.
What is the range? Age range?
My sister is 7 years older than me,
Okay,
and
7.
then my closest in age brother is 4 years older
Gotcha.
than me.
have
Yeah.
have you been to Korea?
I have not. I'm actually the only one in my family who hasn't gone.
That's really amazing. How is it that like Seoul became the music capital of that part of the world, or like that's like a huge
Yeah, the
That's-
K-pop is like a
it's-
huge
yeah.
thing.
all over the
big.
world.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Like London in the 60s or something. Do you know why?
I think it's honestly marketing. I wouldn't know really, to be honest.
Gotta
with
be
you.
so.
Well, zeitgeist is an odd thing. I mean, it just some
Don't be
things
using
people pick
those
it up.
German words around here.
You got to be
didn't
careful this day and age.
I didn't think I was doing that, but yeah, you're right. It is a German word. But yeah, things just pick up. I mean, it's how rock and hip hop, and I
Yeah.
mean, these things just happen, and
There's cycles, you know.
it's yeah.
Hey, you were going to tell us about playwriting.
Yeah, my sister is a playwright.
Ooh,
Yes. So her name's Patty Kim Hamilton.
hello, Patty Kim Hamilton.
She writes plays completely in German. So her native tongue is English,
Right.
but she is completely fluent in German and writes exclusively in German.
Interesting.
And she puts out a play, I think, I don't even know, like once every 2 or 3 years. Sometimes even more frequent if they're smaller plays and things like that. But one of her biggest works was called Peeling Oranges. And she just put out a book called Schmerzkamp, which is about chronic pain and being in the hospital because she deals with chronic pain herself.
Yeah.
But a lot of her work is just based on being Asian, being a person of color, being a woman of color, and
Right.
like what that experience is like. And I work a little bit as her assistant. I do
Yeah.
a lot of her media stuff, so I'll make like graphics and edit her videos.
Very
and
cool.
things
Well,
like that.
I will try to put some links in the
Yeah,
show
I can.
notes.
Yeah, I can totally
Yeah.
send
Does
that to you.
are they produced plays?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
She
does-
was
she writes in
for
German.
about a year the artist in residence at the Deutsches Theater in Berlin. So that's like the big theater in Berlin City. And she was like the artist in residence there. And so she was doing a lot of her stuff.
And it's in German, but her native language is her
English, yeah.
is
But she
English.
speaks both perfectly fluently.
It's amazing.
Honestly, sometimes I
there-
think she speaks German better than English.
I was going to say, is that why she would prefer her plays to be in German?
I think so. I think she but I think
Just
that is
prefer
the
the
thing.
language, the
I think that's the
functionality?
thing with second languages is oftentimes you can find better ways to describe the emotions and feelings you're having in a language that you're not as familiar with.
Really? Why,
Yeah.
why do you think?
I think because it makes you think a lot harder. I am much more specific when I speak in German because I have to think about every single thing that's coming out of my mouth. When I
Yeah,
speak
that's
in
a good point.
English, it just flows out of me.
Yeah.
Do you ever talk with someone in German and who's also fluent in English and switch back and forth without thinking about
Yes,
it?
my sister and I will talk in German and English together, and we mostly speaking English together, but we do speak in German, and like a lot of Germans also speak English, so it's not too uncommon to throw in German English words together and
Oh, right,
even make
right.
something called Danglish, which is like Deutsch English.
Okay.
They call it that?
Yeah, Danglish.
Danglish.
Yeah, and you kind of like combine the two.
Because you ever heard of Hinglish?
No.
It's Hindi combined with English.
Okay, yeah.
It's actually a dialect. And,
Yeah.
and there's more.
I believe it.
There's more people that speak that than speak the English. America. I think there's more people that speak that than there live in America.
Okay.
Whoa.
I'm not surprised. English is like becoming so widespread at this
Sure,
point
sure.
that a lot of people know it and just kind of make their own dialects in
Right.
whatever language.
Well, everybody in Europe probably speaks English. and
definitely.
they probably speak like a lot of times they speak 3 languages.
Yeah, a
right?
lot of Europeans are trilingual.
Yeah.
I'm barely bilingual, I would say.
Barely. I'm learning Spanish.
You
Hey,
talk-
that's a good language to know.
You talk to Africans and they usually know like 5 languages.
Yeah, because they've got so many cultures
Yeah.
mixed into one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So what? So you're waiting for your paperwork to come through.
Yeah.
And then you're going to hit the road.
Yep.
You're going to
Can we
maybe,
come
maybe
with
go.
you?
Right.
If you want.
Maybe go work for your sister, perhaps. Is that kind
Yeah,
of?
I'm
what
gonna
you're
work
thinking?
for her, but I'm pretty much just gonna get settled first.
Okay, yeah.
I'd love to go back to school.
Right.
I would
And
also
pursue.
I want to go back and get a master's in child development.
Okay.
That's what has been most interesting to me when it comes to psychology, which is what I studied, right?
Yep.
So hopefully the dream is that I will just be able to do my master's program and work with kids and just like watch them grow up and kind of help
Very
them
cool.
along that developmental stage as much as I can. Eventually the dream is that one day I will myself be a mom and I'll be able to help my kids grow up and like know the developmental stages and kind of help them along the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's very sweet. I like it. In fact,
you.
I think I'm going to end it there because it makes me feel good. But I'm very glad that you brought up the thing that you're like listening to the podcast, wondering what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I think, or at least I'd like to believe that this show right now, this is an example of exactly what this show is about. It's just about people who
Yeah.
happen to kind of come in and out of this town. There
Yeah.
are so many stories and things that just that are interesting here,
Mm-hmm.
and. It's called the Post Bingo Harrisonburg podcast.
Yes.
And it's that Harrisonburg is the center of how we find our guests and
I
how
feel
we
like Harrisonburg is a really good representation of about how America is kind of like a melting pot.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
many immigrants are
Yeah.
here, but also just how many people are here.
Yeah.
Such a-
People do not. I mean, Harrisonburg is kind of unique in that regard.
Yeah.
And
It
people do
really
not recognize.
is.
They had an article in the Washington Post about us, because we have so many cultures here, and there's not a lot of conflict.
right. It's
There's
just
not really any conflict.
yeah.
there's a lot to it, and I'm glad we do this, and I'm glad we get to meet people like you. So it's very cool.
I'm
Say
happy
something
be
to
here.
say something in German for our German listeners.
Herzlich willkommen zu Harrisonburg. That means welcome to Harrisonburg.
Hey, all right, that'll do. That's good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is Andre Vasconcelos playing in the background?
Yes,
I told him I was
absolutely.
calling him out. He doesn't believe me.
He doesn't. You got to send him a link.
He's down in Rio. He's
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
yeah, thanks. Wait a minute. Leah,
Yes.
Leah.
Hamilton.
Yes.
Yes. You got
That's
it.
2 episodes in a row. I remember the
The
names.
medicines are working.
The medicine is working. the supplements are working.
I'm so happy for you, Jay.
Thank you. So once again, this is Bingo is Life, the podcast in Ruby's Arcade in scenic downtown Harrison. Not very many people here. It was packed earlier.
Yeah, it was.
Now it's just we're feeling lonely in the
Just
restaurant. But come down here to Ruby's Arcade for Bingo is Life, the big show, 7:30 Tuesday nights, and the Bingo is Life podcast. Anytime you want to, live and in person on the internets. See you next week, kids.
Good night. Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast, is brought to you by the Brothers How to Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun.